afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Ms. Gant. Good afternoon, Mr. Barkley. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor. No testimony.
You have been charged in case 22 CR 007975F with Barry family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Shoplifting conviction, 2013. Obstruction conviction, 2009. FTA from 2009. He went to felony earlier. He got no bond for that charge. That's it.
Yes, Ms. Sauer, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This incident took place at 730 Bonaventure, that's Bonaventure Avenue in Atlanta. Officers were dispatched to this incident location and met with the victim, whose name is Chiara Pantaloni, and that's Chiarra, last name Pantaloni. She told officers that she was in a physical altercation with the defendant. She specifically stated that she and the defendant were in a deep conversation. When he got upset with her, he told her, "F your feelings," and then he pulled her by the hair and began to punch her in the face. The victim then stated that the defendant actually pushed her into some bicycles that were nearby, and then he began to kick her. Your Honor, as we've heard from pretrial, the defendant does have multiple convictions. The case that he went to for felony today was an ag sodomy.
Objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Ms. Sauer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Due to these allegations, this defendant does present a risk of reoffending. He is a violent offender. He does present a risk of flight due to that FTA and a risk of intimidating this victim. I do believe she is on the call. The state is recommending a $4,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, to stay away from the incident location, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Corey Barkley is 37 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 12 years. He is the proud father of a 10-year-old. He is not receiving any child support for that child. He does have family in the area, including brothers and cousins. Mr. Barkley graduated high school. He also has college credits in business and finance. He is currently employed as a line cook. However, he's only been in that job for about 3 months. He strongly denies the allegations. He is presumed innocent in this case and any open cases. He does want to continue having contact with the complaining witness, Ms. Chiara Pantaloni. I did have the occasion to speak with her. She is on the line and she would like to inform the court of her wish for contact. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Barkley's behalf. We do not believe that he is at any risk whatsoever of intimidating Ms. Pantaloni. She informed me that she wants to have contact, and of course she'll inform the court of the same. That is his residence. We are opposed to the stay away and would ask, Your Honor, for a no violent contact order and a signature bond, Your Honor. He does not have the means to, well, he was not given a bond, therefore he certainly isn't a flight risk. He isn't going anywhere, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Pantaloni, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I'd like to say that I do wish to still have contact. I have been in contact with Mr. Corey since the incident. It has been amicable. We still have a shared cat, and this is the first time that I've spoken with anybody about this incident. I received a call from a detective shortly after it happened, where I stated that I did not intend to press charges against Mr. Barkley, and I was told that the state would be doing it anyway, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't wish to press charges against him. And I was also told that I would be contacted by a DA where I would explain more what happened that day, because when I did make the call, I wasn't in my right mind. I wasn't sober. So I did hope to get the chance to talk to the DA to explain more the things that I omitted from my statements to the police. And is that something that I should do now here in this court?
No, Ms. Pantalone, let me, Ms. Sorry, do you know whether or not the felony case was with the same victim as this case?
I do know, Your Honor, and no, it's not against the same victim.
Okay, and Ms. Pantalone, who is Mr. Barkley to you?
He's my roommate and he's my friend. We've still been in friendly contact since the incident.
And have you both continued to live at the Bona Vista Avenue address?
Yes.
And has this ever happened before?
No, sir.
Are you afraid of him?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay, all right. Anything further, Ms. Pantalone?
No, sir. Thank you, Your
All right.
Honor.
Thank you. Anything further from counsel?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. I did want to make note for the record that the victim did admit to calling the police regarding this incident. So there was a situation that occurred. Her injuries were also documented by body cam. Your Honor, she's in that cycle of violence where she is at this point trying to protect the defendant. So we would also like you to consider the cycle of violence. And also he is a flight risk if he is given a bond in the felony matter. Nothing further.
Okay, it'll be a $4,000 good bond. No further violent contact with Ms. Pantalone, and drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Barkley.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Hey, Your Honor, can we put courtroom 3, Ms. Kim, and the Hindi interpreter in a breakout?
Okay, yes, and so if we can put the interpreter, Ms. Kim, into that breakout room, please. Okay. There we go. And where are we going next?
For 8, here at the South Annex.
Who is this?
Ms. Hillman, Alexis Hillman.
Okay, who's representing Ms. Hillman?
Wanda Gant, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Gant. Good afternoon, Ms. Hillman. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Hillman, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007988F with battery, criminal trespass, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11 total. Last arrest was 2020, failure to appear. False statements. Criminal attempt to commit a felony and ag assault from 2020 out of Clayton County. The false statements was dismissed. The ag assault appears to be open. 2020 probation for possession of hydrocodone. 2020 simple battery, cruelty in the 3rd. They were dismissed. 2019 FTA for drug possession. 2019 FTA shoplifting. 2019 another FTA for shoplifting. Shoplifting conviction from 2016, 2017. That's it.
Okay. Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 2301 Godby Road in College Park. Your Honor, officers responded to this incident location and met with the victim, one of the victims, whose name is Deonna Mims. That's Deona, last name Mims. She stated to officers that the defendant struck her repeatedly in the face. Officers did notate that there were marks and swelling on the victim's face. And this incident did take place in front of the victim's two children. They are minors, so their initials are RM and KM. Your Honor, as we've heard from pretrial, the defendant does have that open 2020 ag assault case that's out of Clayton. She has multiple FTAs, one in Clayton, one in our jurisdiction, one in Cobb. So she does present a risk of flight, and she is a multi-county offender, and she does present a risk of reoffending. The state's recommendation is a $6,000 surety bond. That's $3,000 on the battery and $1,000 on the other charges, with conditions of no contact with the victims, 1-day anger awareness, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And Your Honor, we're not asking for a stay away because this is, I believe this is the defendant's residence, nothing further.
Scant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Alexis Hillman is 24 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area her entire life. She is the proud proud mother of two children, a 2-year-old son and a daughter, 6 years old. She is not receiving any child support, and she is the primary caretaker, and that is the incident location is her residence, Your Honor. Ms. Hillman completed 9th grade, and at this time, Your Honor, she is unemployed and has been so for the past 2 months. She strongly denies the allegations. She basically states that this dispute arose because she was asking Ms. Mims to leave her residence. Ms. Mims refused and actually began attacking her, and she was merely defending herself, Your Honor. She is presumed innocent. I did not hear about any convictions for violence. Therefore, Your Honor, I'm requesting a signature bond on Ms. Hillman's behalf. If Your Honor determines that she is ineligible, then I would ask for a more reasonable bond given her financial status, Your Honor, and her lack of convictions. I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,500, and that would be $500 for battery, $500 for criminal trespass, and $250 for the remaining cruelty to children charges if she is ineligible for a signature bond, which is what we would prefer. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, for the battery, it's going to be $1,000 good bonds. For each of the other charges, it's going to be a $500 good bond each. That makes for a total of a $2,500 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Mims, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay. Good luck to you, Ms.
Next, we have position number 9, Ms. Hobbs.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hobson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. Ms. Hobson, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007983C with battery. Is there a history?
7 total. Last arrest was 2017 out of Illinois for retail theft. I got a retail theft conviction from 2017 also. 2015, possession of a stolen firearm. That was June 2015. March 2015, possession of a stolen firearm. June 2013, possession of a stolen firearm. 2011, possession of a stolen firearm conviction. This is our first Georgia arrest.
Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. This position is a dual arrest with position 16. This incident took place at 445 Markham Street in Atlanta. Officers responded to this incident location regarding a fight that was in progress. And when they arrived, they saw that the cross defendant, whose name is Tahron, that's Tahron, last name Potter, he was throwing objects around. And when they spoke with this defendant, Ms. Hobson, she stated that the cross defendant pushed her and then attacked her and hit her with a TV, causing swelling to her eye. Mr. Potter stated that it was Ms. Hobson who started the altercation by scratching him, and he did have scratches on his arms and his neck. And also, the officers did note that both parties did seem as though they were intoxicated. The state's recommendation in this case, sorry, 1 second. For Ms. Hobson is a $3,000 surety bond with conditions of no contact, stay away from the incident location, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further, Judge.
Who's representing Ms. Hobson?
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. I represent Ms. Hobson.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Thank you. You
Good
can proceed.
afternoon. Ms. Hobson is 29 years old, Your Honor. She moved to the state of Georgia approximately 6 years ago. She has been living in Georgia since that time. She is gainfully employed as a chef. Although she has some history, Your Honor, the court will note that none of it is related to violence or anything. And this is not a domestic violence situation. This was a situation where it's a friend, they're friends, they're not in a relationship and never were in a relationship, and they don't live together. They got into a dispute and my client was attacked, and she was merely defending herself, Your Honor. She does have an injury to the eye, which the court can probably see. She was merely defending herself when she was attacked by this young man. Based on that, I would ask the court to give her a signature bond so she can get out of jail, Your Honor. She tells me she has no one who could bond her out anyway. So if she gets any kind of surety bond, she'll be stuck in jail. And just based on the fact that this is a dual arrest and she has injuries and she's alleging that he was the primary aggressor, Your Honor, I'd ask the court to give her a signature bond.
Who lives at the Markham Street address?
She lives there, Your Honor. And I believe she has a roommate who is not this person.
Okay, so Mr. Potter lives somewhere else.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so it's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. No further contact at this time with Mr. Potter, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Good
Your
luck to
Honor,
you. Yes.
can we do the breakout for the Spanish interpreter for position number 19?
Okay, and who's the attorney on that case?
Ms. Kim?
Yes, that would be me, Your Honor.
Okay, so if we can put Madam Interpreter, Ms. Kim, into the South Annex so they can discuss. All right, and so while they're doing that, where do we go next?
Courtroom 2.
Is that Miss, who do we have in courtroom? Oh, who do we have in courtroom 2?
Oh, this is gonna be Sarge. I thought you was gonna go for, because, okay, I got you, yeah.
I was, but that's Ms. Kim, client too.
I got you, so, okay, position 18, Mr. Smith, that's actually Ms. McLeod's case.
And so this is Jesse Smith, is that right?
Yes, Jesse Smith, position 18. Oh.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 22 CR 007987D with failure to obey a stop sign and driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Last arrest was 2021 DUI out of Johns Creek. 2019 suspended license, dead docket, possession of cocaine dismissed from 2016. 2011 suspended license, given false name. It was reduced to expired license conviction. And the 02 suspended license dismissed. I think that 2021 DUI might be open. I don't have a case number for it though.
Who's presenting for the state? Is that Ms. Todd?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. While on patrol, Office of Preserve Lane, 7 Oaks Drive in Johns Creek, officers observed the defendant's vehicle failing to stop at a stop sign. The officers conducted a traffic stop and had the defendant exit the vehicle. When he went to exit the vehicle, the defendant stumbled and had to use the vehicle to stable himself. Officers also noted that he did have a smell of alcohol on him. With consent, the officers did conduct a sobriety test. During the horizontal gaze test, 6 clues were observed. The walk and return evaluation shows 7 clues. The defendant also admitted that he had been drinking, and when asked by the officers how much, he responded, a lot. As pretrial has stated, he does have the 2021 DUI. We also do not have that case number at this time. And he has also been arrested 4 different times for driving with a suspended license. This is also not his first failure to obey a stop sign or traffic control device. As such, we are asking for a $500 surety bond on the failure to obey stop sign, a $3,000 surety bond on the DUI, as well as no driving and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 54 years old. He is gainfully employed in IT, Your Honor, and he is married, lives at home with his wife and children, has 1 child who is in college. He denies that he admitted drinking or drinking a lot to the police officers, Your Honor. Even though he has an outstanding DUI, that he is presumed innocent in that case, Your Honor. We are not opposed to the $500 on the failure to obey the stop sign, but on the DUI, Your Honor, I would ask the court to reduce the amount of that bond so that it can be a reasonable bond that he would be able to post. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, so for the failure to stop, it's going to be a $250 good bond. For the DUI, it's going to be a $1,750 good bond. Makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Position number 20 in courtroom number 3, please.
And this is Ms. Yearby.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusations calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been charged in case 22 CR 0079911Y with theft by deception. Is your history, Mr. Howard? You're talking, it's on, you're on mute, Mr. Howard.
Yeah, I was talking. 5th arrest, last was 2021, reckless conduct, simple assault, family violence. That's open out of the cab. Got a 2015 trespass, harassment, phone calls conviction, ag assault conviction, possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission conviction 2015, simple battery NOD from 2013. That's it.
It's time.
Thank you, Your Honor. The victim in this case, Mr. Messiah Grooms, that's MESIAH, Grooms, GROOMS, received an email stating that if he would send $810 to a Zelle account that is linked to the defendant, then he would receive $1,215 in return. Mr. Grooms did send the $810 to the account linked to the defendant, but never received the money in return. As pretrial stated, she does have the conviction for the 2015 conviction for criminal trespassing and harassing calls. She has a total of 5 cycles, and therefore we do consider some risk of reoffense there. We also show that she has an open warrant out of Fairburn for larceny. At this time, Your Honor, we are asking for a $1,000 surety bond with no further contact with Mr. Grooms, as well as no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
No. It's my case, Your Honor.
I'm gonna give
My
him.
client is
I'm gonna give-
28.
Ms. McLeod, I'm gonna give her a signature bond. And
Thank you, Your Honor.
if you want to have something more to say after, then I'll be happy to hear it. But I believe
That would be fine, Your Honor. I was just going to argue for signature bond on her behalf.
All right, it's gonna be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Mr. Grooms, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. McLeod?
It does, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, Ms. Yerby.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes,
for position number 5, Mr. Dupree, we've been bringing him to court for the past, since last week. I have his fiance here. She just came here. So she wants to put some light on why he's been acting the way he's been acting, and we couldn't bring him to court.
Position 5 is a waiver of appearance.
And he's a waiver from Ms. McLeod.
so you would like for me to do Mr. Dupree next? Is that what you're telling me?
That is correct.
Okay, very good. I'm happy to do that. Thank you.
You stand right here.
And yes, ma'am, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Brianna Williams. I'm his fiance.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second for me, ma'am. Let me, I just wanted to acknowledge you on the record, and I will give you a chance to say whatever you'd like to tell the court, but let me find out a bit about what's going on, since I was not the judge the last time that Mr. Dupree was supposed to come to court. Ms. Sauer, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
What's going on here?
This was a reset from Saturday regarding MH issues. So we would request a breakout regarding this one.
This is your case, Ms. McLeod?
It is, Your Honor.
And so can we go into a breakout room with courtroom 2, Ms. Sari and Ms. McLeod, Ms. Bridgewater, anyone else that needs to be in that breakout room? Okay, yes, Ms. Helena Allen, thank you. Good to see you again. Okay, just for the record, we've had this discussion on Mr. Dupree, who has waived his presence. It's going to be $1,000 good bond on each charge, making for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Stay away from the Baker Street address and MHET, which has already been signed, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, except he's to stay on any prescription medication that he's currently on. Okay, who do we have next?
Position 13, Matthews.
Good afternoon, Mr. Matthews. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Matthews, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007982Y with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
32 total. This violence go back to the 90s. 2022 July probation for battery DV. 2021 stalking that was dismissed. He pled no to simple assault family violence. 2017 felony battery DV conviction. It was a probation violation with that arrest as well. 2017 FTA. 2016 FTA for battery. 2015 battery DV conviction. 2015 ag assault conviction. 2014 probation and FTAs. 2012 battery DV, 2 counts conviction. 2012 regular battery conviction. He got a lot of
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Just, who's presenting?
I am, Your Honor.
Ms. Todd, go ahead.
The defendant and his two other roommates who share the residence of 2233 Macon Drive Southwest got into a verbal altercation. The altercation was escalated and the defendant punched one of his roommates, a Mr. Marcel Copeland, that's MARCEL Copeland, regular spelling, in the face. As pretrial stated, he does have 32 total cycles, including I think it was 5 cases of battery family violence that all included the same defendant, or excuse me, the same victim. He also has 9 arrests for probation violations. We are concerned about some intimidation, seeing as the defendant does reside in the residence with the victim. As such, we are asking for a $15,000 surety bond with a stay away from the 2233 Macon Drive address, as well as no further contact with Marcel Copeland, 1 day of anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Your Honor, my client is 45 years old. He tells me that he struck the alleged victim because he had attacked his sister. He was merely defending his sister who had been attacked by the alleged victim. Your Honor, a person is allowed to use force in defense of others. In this case, he actually was acting to defend his sister. And that is a justification for using some kind of force against another person. And this is what my client did. I acknowledge that he does have some significant history, Your Honor. He does work from time to time, but does not have the kind of money to post a $15,000 bond as the prosecution is asking. I would ask the court to give him a reasonable bond, which will give him the possibility of being able to bond out of jail. Otherwise, he's just going to sit in jail until this case comes up for hearing. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, it's going to be a $5,000 good bond. Stay away from the 2233 Macon Drive address. He can go back to that address on 1 occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No further contact with Marcel Copeland, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 17 in courtroom number 3.
let's see, Mr. Interpreter, what language will this be? Is this, does she need the assistance of an interpreter?
Judge, I think this is a Spanish interpreter. If we're talking about the South Annex.
Yes. Is this?
Yeah, yeah, this is a Spanish interpreter.
Okay. Madam Interpreter, are you on the line?
What number are we on, 17?
Yes.
You guys were doing courtroom 3. That was the position 17 case, courtroom 3.
Courtroom 3? Oh, okay. All right, and is courtroom 3 the Spanish interpreter?
No, that's the Hindi.
Odia. It's called Odia actually. It's one of the languages in India.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Interpreter. Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
I am not Oriya interpreter. I'm doing the Hindi for the defendant in the courtroom 3.
So it is Hindi. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused by where we are and which interpreter we need. So we're doing courtroom 3. Is that position number 17 in courtroom 3?
Yes, Judge, it is.
Okay, and he's the one who needs the Hindi interpreter?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Interpreter, I'm going to swear you in. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from Hindi to English and English to Hindi to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Can you pronounce, is it Sethi? Is that the last name?
Yes.
Mr. Interpreter, can you pronounce his
Sethi, but Your Honor, I'm confused. I was talking to the counselor on room number 3. He needed Hindi, and the defendant, Miss Sethi, just said they speak Oriya. I don't speak that language.
Oh, okay. That's where the confusion. Okay. Representing, and Ms. Kim, is this your client?
Yes, this is
Okay.
my client. We would like to waive. My client is willing to waive the appearance of.
Does he speak any English?
He speaks English. I have enough information to move forward with the proceedings.
Okay. Well, in the future, if you see that I'm confused, if you can, just speak up and say that, tell me what you need, as opposed to me trying to figure it out. Okay.
Sure.
Thanks.
We'll do that.
Judge, it wasn't you, it was the defendant, the visitor shouldn't have said anything. That's what confused you.
Okay.
They shouldn't be talking, Judge. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay, so who from the state is presenting? Ms. Todd?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
On the 26th of this month, the defendant severely injured his wife, Rebati Sethi, that's Rebati Sethi, Sethi, by kicking her in the back. Mrs. Sethi called police, and upon arrival, officers observed swelling around Miss Sethi's nose and eyes, as well as the fact that she was holding her lower back as she spoke to officers. And she was also wincing in pain. Due to her obvious injuries, the officers called paramedics for further evaluation of Miss Sethi's injuries. The defendant's 2 minor children, whose initials are A, and AA, were present during the entirety of the attack. While there is no significant criminal history here, Your Honor, the fact that the defendant is Miss Sethi's husband, as well as the father of both minor children, we do have some concern regarding the intimidation of the witnesses in this case. We are asking for a $3,000 surety bond on the first count of battery family violence, a $1,000 surety count on the second count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, and another $1,000 surety bond on the 3rd count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, for a total of $5,000 surety bond. We are also asking for no further contact with either of the 3 victims in this case, as well as a stay away from 522 Saratoga Drive. That's SARATOGA. We're also asking for 1 day of anger awareness and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Okay. Ms. Cynthia, I see you there. I will acknowledge you in just a moment and give you the opportunity to speak if you like, okay? But I will call on you in just a moment. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Sethi has been here in Georgia ever since 2020. So he's been here for about 2 years. He's gainfully employed as an IT computer science personnel. And he's been doing that ever since from 2006. He has a master's degree for computer applications, and he's not qualified for public defender's service. So from going forward, he will have to find another private attorney. So my representation will end at the end of this bond hearing. He wants to have a no further violent contact, and we would like to request for actually signature on bond since this is the first incident, Your Honor. Thanks.
All right. Ms. Sethi, if you can unmute yourself for me. And raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I'm very sorry this happened. I want my husband back, and my kids badly need him. He every day feeds my kids, so my kids are very sad now. They want him back. They are not eating from 2 days. They're asking about his dad. I want him back.
Has this ever happened before?
No.
And are you afraid of him?
No.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to tell the court?
Just please send him back.
Your Honor, if I may ask Ms. Sethi a couple of questions.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Todd.
Ms. Sethi, did you in fact call the police?
Yes,
as a
I
result?
called. Yes, I called because at that time I was hit of mind. We both involved. Like that time, it was first time he drank, but he never used to do these things. This was first time I called him. Like never, not no dangerous and not life threatening. I just I called with a state of mind. I was that aggressive, like I was hit of mind. I called. He never did this thing to me. Never. He loves his kids, and kids also want him back.
Okay.
I'm not eating from 2 days.
Ms. Sethi, if I could ask you another question, did he in fact hit you?
Actually, we both involved in hit. I push him and he also push him. It was when he was pushing him unintentionally. He like his hand on me, and my back was paining before. And that day also that thing happened, but he never did this thing to me. He loved me a lot. I want him back. It's my fault. I called to police that day in heat of mind. It's my fault.
Your Honor, we would just like to point out that there is significant risk of intimidation of the witness in this case, considering the testimony of Ms. Sethi.
All right. It's for the battery, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. For each of the other charges, $1,000 signature bond through the jail, a total of a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Ms. Sethi, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you,
All right.
Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you all.
Thank you, Honor.
Who do we have next?
Position 14, McMichael.
And I don't think that we need the interpreter any longer on as far as the last case was concerned. So you're free to go, sir. All right, this is position 14, is that right?
Yes, Judge. McMichael?
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. McMichael. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. McMichael, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007984C with disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7th arrest. History out of Massachusetts and Connecticut. Last arrest was back in April. Possession of a Schedule 1 or 2. Controlled substance with intent. Suspended license. That appears to be open. 22 CP 208-616. Got a 2014 assault conviction. 2010 breach of peace conviction. 2007 possession of drug paraphernalia, looks like. And an 2009 arrest for suspended license. That's it.
Ms. Todd?
Thank you, Your Honor. On the 26th of this month, officers were called to the address of 5501 Glenridge Drive as a result of a domestic disturbance. When officer arrived at the home of Miss Stacy Wright, that's STACEY Wright, WRIGHT, they observed the defendant kicking Miss Wright's front door to her apartment. Defendant was also seen kicking in the door and breaking the door frame. As pretrial stated, he does have an open case here in Fulton County with the inclusion of in his history a violent conviction for assault, as well as an additional assault arrest. The defendant does stand the chance to intimidate the witness in this case as they are in a relationship together. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond on the disorderly conduct, a $2,000 surety bond on the criminal trespass for a total of $4,000 surety bond. We are also asking for a stay away from the 5501 Glenridge Drive address, no further contact with Miss Stacy Wright, and also no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Your Honor, my client is 37 years old. He is the father of a 9-year-old for whom he's the primary custodian. His daughter lives with him. He tells me this incident arose when he came home and the alleged victim had locked his 9-year-old daughter out of the apartment and in the cold. And, you know, he needed to go in so he could get his stuff out of the apartment because he realized then, since he'd put his child out, that, you know, he needed to leave as well. He was trying to knock on the door. She would not answer the door. And he was knocking on the door, trying to get in so he could retrieve his stuff. He actually lived there at the time. He tells me that he does have another place that he can live. And of course, where his daughter can live, because for some unknown reason, she put his daughter out, and that was really what upset him when he came home late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and found his 9-year-old daughter outside in the cold, Your Honor. My client does have some history, but any history of violence, the assault is remote. I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond, given what his allegations are as to what happened. He's merely upset because his daughter had been mistreated and put outside. So that really upset him because they had been in a relationship and his daughter had been left with her. And instead of taking care of this child, she simply put her outside and locked the door behind her and left her out in the cold, Your Honor. Based on the history that my client has, I see no reason why he shouldn't be given a signature bond, Your Honor. He does not have any significant convictions, and certainly not anything recent. So that would be my request to the court in this case.
Does he need to go back to that address?
He does, Your Honor. He does need a one-time escort to get his things.
Okay, so for the disorderly, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Stacy Wright, stay away from the 5501 Glenwood Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. McMichael.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, he's good. Position 3, Dewberry.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dewberry. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Dewberry, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007979E with 2 counts of criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I was supposed to have 1 count and their charges,
Mr. Dewberry, please remain silent, sir.
See 55 cycles. Last arrest was in October, trespass. Yeah. February, failure to appear, trespass. 2021, shoplifting arrest. 2020, simple battery, trespass arrest. 2020, trespass conviction. Another 2020 arrest for trespass, it was dismissed. Got 2 parole violations from 2019, 1 from 2020. 2010 as well. He went to felony earlier. He got a $25,000 good bond. I guess it was for the criminal damage to property, 2nd degree.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at Videodrome located at 617 North Highland Avenue in Atlanta. Officers responded regarding a trespass call. The defendant, he came onto the property with a metal stick and he struck the door with the stick and broke off the handle and threw it in the street. Your Honor, this defendant has been trespassed 3 times from this incident location and given a stay away order, but he continues to go back and violate. So he does present a risk of reoffending. Just in the last 2 years, he has 5 criminal trespass arrests, 3 that resulted in guilty convictions, and 1 was at this very same location. He has an FTA from this year, so he does present a risk of flight. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond. That's $1,000 on each count. Stay away from the incident location and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Ms. Gant?
Your Honor, I believe that there is a little bit of confusion about Mr. Dewberry's matter from Ms. Sari's presentation. She referenced the metal pipe, but I believe that is from the felony offense, Your Honor. Criminal damage to property. This is November 20th, 2022, 1161 Ponce de Leon Avenue. The client allegedly picked up an object and threw it at the sign twice, damaging the property. Your Honor, what I have is in fact 1 criminal trespass allegation or charge, and this is from November 26th at 617 North Highland Avenue. That is the misdemeanor that I have the warrant for, and it states that he basically entered the property. My client strongly denies that allegation. He does admit that he was in that area, but he states that he was not trespassing on that property. He states that the building is situated near a 4-way intersection. The sidewalk is very narrow. He states that he was almost hit by a car and that he was basically moving out of the way to avoid becoming injured. Mr. Dewberry is 44 years old. He is residentially challenged. We are connecting him to a social worker. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 5 years. He has 2 children, ages 24 and 25. He completed the 10th grade, and he states that when he is able to work, he works construction. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Dewberry's behalf. He will not be able to pay anything toward bond, Your Honor, and we are unopposed to any stay away conditions. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, I pulled the report. We have from the calendar today, the date of incident is 11/26/22. And I have that report here, and those are the facts from the report. Regardless, the defendant has 3 trespass warnings, so he does not have permission to be anywhere near the incident location. So he has violated stay away orders. So we are still requesting the $2,000 surety bond.
All right, so on each count, it's going to be a $500 good bond, making for a total of $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the 617 North Highland Avenue address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Dewberry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position 12, Levy.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 22 CR 007978G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This is 4th arrest. Last was 2021, suspended license and DUI. He's out on pretrial for theft by taking. It's 18 SC 157717. On probation for expired license. 2018 theft, 2019 failure to appear theft by taking. That's it.
It's time.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant and a Mr. Trevorius Wright, that's TREVORIOUS Wright, WRIGHT, were witnessed outside of the leasing office located at 3200 Lenox Road, engaging in a verbal altercation. That verbal altercation escalated when the defendant scratched Mr. Wright, leaving visible lacerations across his face. We are concerned, as the defendant and Mr. Wright do live together at the 3200 Lenox Road address. We are asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Mr. Wright, a stay away from the location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Has your office spoken to Mr. Wright?
We have not at this time, Your Honor, as he has been also charged with, he has also been charged in this incident, and he is currently in jail.
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 35 years old. He tells me that he isn't working right now, but he does have some college education, 2 years of college. He has no significant criminal history, as pretrial has noted. He tells me that this was an unfortunate incident that happened between himself and the cross-defendant. They live together. They're in a romantic relationship, Your Honor. He tells me that they have actually been talking since they're both locked up in Fulton County Jail. He would like to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, Your Honor. I would ask the court. Yes, Your Honor.
Was Mr. Wright charged with this happened back on the 26th?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright was actually charged with damaging my client's car. He threw a rock and damaged the windshield of the car.
Was he, I guess he's not on this calendar. Was he on a previous calendar?
He's actually, I apologize for interrupting, but he is actually in felony court, Your Honor. 22 PF 008035.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kim. That answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. McLeod. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask the court for signature bond on my client's behalf. He has no violent history, Your Honor, and no significant criminal history.
It is going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Wright, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Yes, he already out on pretrial.
He's already on a pretrial bond?
Yes.
And that was for the
Theft.
the theft case?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
and that's 25,000.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. So it's gonna be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No further violent contact with Mr. Wright, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Position 16, Potter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Potter, Judge Eric Mora. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You agree to have your case heard by video?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Potter, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007985C with battery. It's my understanding also that we've already handled the cross defendant in this case, position number 9. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, it's his 5th arrest. Everything is driving, DUIs, and suspended license. He don't have any violence.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. As we've already discussed the facts in the cross defendant's case, for this specific defendant, we are asking for a $3,000 surety, no contact, stay away, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And I understand you did give the cross defendant a signature bond.
Good afternoon, Mr. Judge. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, Mr. Potter is 34 years old. He is currently working. He works at a restaurant called Mr. Everything. He does have a daughter that he takes care of, not in his permanent or primary custody, but he does do a great deal to support her. Your Honor, we would request a signature bond on his behalf. He does not have any, my understanding is he has no convictions for anything involving violence of any sort. That was my understanding from talking to him, and I think that was confirmed. Your Honor, we would request a signature bond. As far as the incident location, notwithstanding, well, he has his stuff there. He had at least been staying there temporarily. I don't know what the extent of the arrangement was, but he was staying there at least on a temporary basis. So we would ask that, and Your Honor did issue a stay away order in the cross defendant for her to stay away from him, and that was not objected to. So, you know, that kind of leaves it in a situation where it wouldn't make sense to have her, you know, but we would ask, Your Honor, that if he is to be given a stay away from that location, that he at least be allowed to return there, possibly with the deputy or a law enforcement officer to retrieve his belongings. So that is because he does have certain personal items there.
All right. It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Hobson. He's to stay away from the 445 Markham Street address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Potter.
Okay, you're done. Position 11, Keith.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I do apologize for interrupting. Position 6, Raymond Gamble is my client, and the complaining witness is Ms. Alicia Hobson. She was actually the cross defendant in the matter that we just heard, Mr. Potter.
Okay. I'm sorry, what's the issue, Ms. Gant?
Since Your Honor just addressed the the stay away or the lack of the stay away at the residence, while it's fresh in the court's mind, I would like to address Mr. Gamble's case,
Come on, Mr. Gamble,
as
switch out for me.
So,
This is position 6, Gamble.
all right, and so it's a totally different incident that we're here for Mr. Gamble that just involves Ms. Hobson.
That's
somehow.
correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Gamble. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Gamble, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007981C with battery family violence. It's my understanding from pretrial that this is Mr. Gamble's first arrest. Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident did take place at 445 Markham Street in Atlanta, and the victim, Ms. Hobson, she stated that she and a person that was with her, who was an acquaintance, needed to use the bathroom and decided to use the defendant's restroom when he got upset. A verbal altercation ensued, and then he struck her multiple times in the head, and she did sustain lacerations. The state's recommendation in this case is a $3,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim. We would ask for the stay away in this case, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
It was my understanding when she was before me that I was told that this was her residence. Is that not right?
I believe that is correct. They were roommates or are roommates.
Okay. Who's representing Mr. Gamble?
Your Honor, I am Wanda Gant.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Raymond Gamble is 37 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 16 years. He has his family here, including Miss Alesia Hobson, the complaining witness. That is his sister-in-law, Your Honor. And Mr. Gamble states that he and Miss Hobson both live there, and that it is his brother and her husband's residence, Mr. Trememble Gamble. He is currently, he's away, and they are basically maintaining the residence together until Mr. Trememble Gamble returns home. Mr. Gamble completed high school. He also has some college credits in mass communications and early childhood education. He is currently employed in technical support, and he's set to start a new position on December 16th. Now, Ms. Hobson, as we heard, is incarcerated. I did have the occasion to speak to Ms. McLeod, who's representing Ms. Housen regarding her wishes for contact. And I would ask that Your Honor allow Ms. McLeod to address the court regarding Ms. Hobson's wishes. My client wants to continue having contact with Ms. Gamble. He denies the allegations. He was unaware of the warrant. And in fact, he is the person who called the police while Ms. Alesia Hobson and Mr. Potter were in some type of altercation, Your Honor. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Gamble's behalf, and I ask that he not be given a stay away, and that Your Honor order no violent contact. Thank you, Your Honor.
So this Markham Street address is Mr. Gamble's brother's address.
Yes,
right?
and Ms. Hobson lives there as well.
And who is Ms. Hobson to Mr. Gamble?
She is his sister-in-law.
Sister, oh, okay, so brother. She is his. Yes, Ms. McLeod, what would you like to tell me about Ms. Hobson's?
Your Honor, she acknowledges that she is a roommate with Mr. Gamble and wants to continue that relationship.
And Your Honor, the state would ask for no contact. Given the violence going on at the residence, we do have a concern. There are 3 people now incarcerated, so we do believe that there needs to be some separation to get things back in a better place.
Well, it appears that Mr. Gamble's, this charge was back from 2021, August.
And he continued to live there, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, and then the Ms. Hobson and Mr. Potter have also got into an incident at the very same incident location where all of them are residing.
Well, Mr. Potter was just there. He doesn't really reside there, just Mr. Gamble and my client who live there.
All right, so it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Hobson, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Gamble.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 11, Keith.
Good afternoon, Mr. Keith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 22 CR 007976H with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2011. Possession of a Schedule 4 controlled substance. It was dismissed.
All right. Ms. Todd.
Thank you, Your Honor. On the 27th of this month, a verbal altercation between the defendant and a Miss Sabrina, regular spelling, Martinez, regular spelling, was escalated when the defendant grabbed Miss Martinez by the neck, shoved her into a wall, and punched her in the head. Officers, when they arrived, were able to see visible marks around Miss Martinez's neck, as well as lacerations on the side of her face. Also present during the altercation were Miss Martinez's 2 minor children, whose initials are AC and AM. We are concerned with some risk of intimidation in this matter, Your Honor. While there is no history of violence, the defendant and Ms. Martinez are in a relationship together. They do live in the same home, and the defendant is also the father of one of Ms. Martinez's children. The state is asking for a $3,000 surety bond on the count of family violence, and we are asking for a $1,000 surety bond on each of the individual cruelty to children counts, which would be a total of $5,000 surety bond. We are asking for a stay away from the incident location of 1734 Hadlock, that's HADLOCK Street. A no further contact with Miss Sabrina Martinez, and we're going to ask for a third-party transfer of the 1 child that they do share.
Has your office spoken with Miss Martinez?
Let me double check, Your Honor. The last time I checked, we had not, but if you'll indulge me for just a moment, I can try and get an update on that.
I see that she's on the line, and if Ms. Martinez would like to address the court, I'll give her that opportunity. Thank you, Ms. Todd. I appreciate it. And you can also give me an update if you do have something that you want to tell me if your office has spoken with her, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Keith is 29 years old, Your Honor, and he has no objection to stay away from 1734 Hadlock Street. He has no objection to no further contact with Sabrina Martinez as well. They broke up, apparently. They have relationship of 3 years from May 2019. However, and they used to live together, but they don't have to. They're not going to be living together. And third-party child transfer is the only thing that we would like to have. He has been here in Georgia about 1 year. He is originally from North Carolina, which is only 4 hours away from here. And he's employed as a truck driver for about last 4 years. And he is not qualified for public defender's service. So my representation will end at the end of this bond hearing. He has an associate degree from college. His major was psychology and physics. And we would like to request for signature on bond since this is his first incident at all. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Martinez, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, this is your opportunity. You don't have to address the court, but if you'd like to address the court, I will need to swear you in. You'll have to unmute yourself.
I don't want to.
Okay, you're fine, Ms. Martinez. Thank you. Your client has his hand up, Ms. Kim.
Mr. Keith, I'll give you a call. Please stay silent. I strongly recommend you to stay silent. Thank you.
Okay,
Your Honor, if I may.
yes.
So after looking into Odyssey, I did find that we have spoken with the victim in this case. One thing that we want to make mention of is she has mentioned that she wants contact with him only if it's necessary. So therefore we would reiterate the no further contact, but the third-party transfer of the children.
Well, Ms. Kim did not have any problem with the no further contact and the stay away, so it's going to be ordered. It's going to, for each count for the battery, family violence, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. For each of the other counts, a $500 signature bond through pretrial for each count, making it a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Martinez, stay away from the Hadlock Street address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Keith.
Position 7, Henderson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Henderson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Henderson, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007986J with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest. Last arrest was in October, battery DV and trespass. It's 22 CR 006726J. And he had another battery DV arrest, 22 CR 006725J.
What county?
And obstruction. These are Fulton.
Okay.
They're up in state court. The first one was February and the last one was October.
And yeah, what's he doing?
I think he got pretrial the first time. The second time we came off the bond. So he had to post a good bond the second time, I'm assuming. I don't think nobody gave him a signature bond through the jail on that one. So that's it.
Yes, Your Honor. Just wanted to note for the record regarding the defendant's history. I actually have 3 battery family violence open cases. In one case, yes, Your Honor, you actually gave the defendant a pretrial bond, which he did violate. That was a different victim from this case. And he also has another victim in one of the open cases. So that's 2 victims. And then here's a different victim today. This incident took place at 2939 Fairburn Road in Atlanta. Officers were dispatched to this incident location regarding a fight in progress. The victim, whose name is Mayana, that's Miyanna, last name is Andrews. She informed officers that she broke up with the defendant and a few days ago, and he was upset because he wanted her back. During a verbal altercation, he punched her in the face. She tried to tase him, but her taser didn't work. And officers did notate that she had several lumps on her head and her lip was busted. The victim was actually transported to Grady, and there were independent witnesses who confirmed these events did take place. Your Honor, as this defendant has 3 open battery family violence cases, the state's recommendation is a $10,000 surety bond, stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Your Honor, my client is 18 years old. He is a resident of the Metro Atlanta area. He has graduated high school. He tells me he has been working at Georgia State University for the past 6 months and that he is about to start there as a student. So he will be studying auto mechanics at Georgia State University, he tells me, Your Honor. He denies that he was in a relationship with the alleged victim. He tells me that he knew her from school and that she asked to borrow $140 from him, which he loaned her, and she paid him back $80. He asked for the other $40. She told him he should come over to her house to get it. He went over to her house and they got into an argument, and she actually tased him, and the taser that she had poked him in the eye, and that was when he pushed her because she was attacking him. I understand that my client does have two outstanding cases. They don't involve the same person, Your Honor. I would ask the court, given his age and his status, he does work, but he doesn't make a lot of money, to set an appropriate bond for him. A 10,000 surety bond is more than he's able to afford right now, Your Honor. Nothing further.
All right, it's going to be a $5,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Andrews, stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out of the bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Henderson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, you said 5,000 good bond, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Thanks. Position 4, Duffy.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Duffy. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 007980E with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Howard?
7 total. He's a resident of South Carolina. He got history out of Oklahoma, Arizona, Texas, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina. I go with Texas first. 2016, it says liquor violation, escape from custody, evading arrest, detention. He was convicted in 2019 for the escape from custody. Got a 2018 access fraud device out of Pennsylvania. Theft by deception, identity theft. Looks like those cases were dismissed. 2016 South Carolina says violation of city ordinance, assault and battery 3rd degree. 2019 out of Arizona, possession of drug paraphernalia. 2014 out of Oklahoma, possession of a controlled substance, unlawful possession of paraphernalia. That's it.
Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 811 Woodley Drive in Atlanta. Officers responded regarding a trespass call from the owner. The defendant was actively inside the owner's home in the bedroom sleeping. When officers found him, he was sleeping. The defendant did not have consent from the owner, of course, and they do not know who the defendant is. He actually was seen on their camera approaching the home and pulling on multiple doors and found one that was unlocked, and that's how he got inside. As we've heard from pretrial, the defendant has a criminal history out of multiple states, so he does present a risk of reoffending. He's a flight risk. He has that escape conviction from 2018 out of Texas. And the state is concerned because he does not have any ties to the community. Our recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond to stay away from the incident location and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Daniel Duffy is 27 years old. Mr. Duffy has an ID in South Carolina, but he states that he has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 1 year. He does have a local mailing address that I'm happy to place in the chat. He does not have any family here. He completed high school, and while I do acknowledge my client's history, it appears that his last contact with law enforcement and the legal system has been in 2019. He is on a different path. He is currently enrolled at Clemson University. He's studying economics, and he is about 2 semesters away from obtaining his degree. He is gainfully employed at a local steakhouse. He has been in that position for about 2 months. He is still on probation and is very concerned about losing his job. These are allegations. He is presumed innocent, and given the nature of the allegation, Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Duffy's behalf, and we are unopposed to any stay away conditions. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, if he's enrolled at Clemson, I believe that's in another state. So he does not have ties to the community. He doesn't live in Georgia.
He works here, Your Honor, and has been present in the jurisdiction for 1 year.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Woodley Drive address and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Duffy.
Thank you,
Thank
Your
you,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Position 2, Bruno.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bernal. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 22 CR 007977G with speeding, driving without a valid license, and attempting to misrepresent a tag. Ms. Sari, are you all going to ask for a good bond on this?
Yes, Your Honor, due to the history.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, 1 second, sorry. So while patrolling the area on I-75, I-85 North, officers saw the defendant going 75 in a 55. So a stop was conducted, and when asked for his license, the defendant stated that he did not have one, but would give his name and date of birth. And the tag was not a match for the vehicle he was driving. Your Honor, regarding the history, the defendant has at least 21 cycles. In 2021, he was arrested in Cobb for theft by receiving a false name. There's no disposition listed on that one. However, in this year, he was arrested for driving without a valid license, and he was found guilty. He does have history out of New York, and he has similar charges out of New York: aggravated unlicensed person operating a vehicle, improper license plate. So due to his history, he has no license, but he continues to drive. He does present a risk of reoffending, and he is a danger to the community driving without his license, or without a license. He is not a licensed person at all. Actually, Your Honor, we are not asking for a surety. It's a 5,000 signature through pretrial, and it's 2,000 on the speeding and no license, 1,000 on the tag. No driving due to the fact that he does not have a license, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Okay, well, the speeding is going to be a $250 signature bond through the jail. For the license, it's $1,000 signature bond for the jail through the jail. For the attempting to misrepresent, a $250 signature bond through the jail. That makes it a total of a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and of course, no driving without a valid driver's license. Does that suit you, Ms. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Bernal.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We're completed here in courtroom 2, Judge.
All right, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Where to now?
Position number 19 is the interpreter case.
Okay. Madam Interpreter, thank you for being patient with us this afternoon.
You're very welcome, Your Honor.
I appreciate it. Do you swear affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Persois.
Turcios.
Turcios, thank you. It's Turcios.
Buenas tardes, señora Turcios. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You agree to have your case heard by video.
Buenas tardes, señora. Yo soy el juez Eric Mores y estamos conduciendo esta teleaudiencia para evitar el contagio del virus a distancia. ¿Está de acuerdo con que tratemos su caso de esta manera?
Sí, está bien.
Yes, that's fine.
So you've been charged with simple battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children.
Usted tiene un cargo por golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar y 2 cargos de crueldad ante un menor.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Hay una historia al señor Howard.
Second arrest, 2015, alien inadmissibility. Out of
Es el
Texas.
segundo arresto y por residencia ilícita indocumentada.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant and her husband, Hugo Marcial, that's Hugo, Marcial, Marcial, got into a verbal altercation while they were at the party where the defendant had been drinking.
La acusada con su esposo Hugo Marcial tuvieron una discusión mientras estaban tomando en una fiesta.
When the couple arrived home, the defendant escalated the verbal altercation when she began shoving the defendant as he held their 2 minor children in his arms.
La acusada, cuando volvieron a la casa, agrandó o empeoró la situación, empujándolo al esposo mientras él estaba teniendo agarradas a las niñas.
Also, while Mr. Marcial was holding their 2 children, the defendant threw a vase at his head.
Mientras el señor Marcial tenía a las niñas sostenidas, la acusada le tiró un jarrón al señor.
While there is not a significant history in this case, Your Honor, we are concerned of intimidation due to the fact that the victim and the defendant are married and share 2 minor children.
Debido a que no tiene la acusada grandes antecedentes penales, la fiscalía le preocupa la posibilidad de intimidación, ya que comparten una residencia y tienen 2 niños menores juntos.
As such, we are asking for a $3,000 surety bond on the charge of simple battery, a $1,000 charge for cruelty to children, and a $1,000 surety bond for the second count of cruelty.
Entonces la fiscalía requiere que se le otorgue una fianza bajo garantía de $3,000 por el primer cargo de golpes y lesiones, $1,000 por una fianza por el segundo cargo y por el tercer cargo una fianza de $1,000 por crueldad ante un menor.
We're also asking for a no further contact, a stay away from 3414 Louise Street, that's Louise.
También pedimos que no tengan más contacto y que la acusada se mantenga alejada de la dirección 3414 Louise Street, Louise.
We're also asking for third-party transfer of the children, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
También se pide que se tome una clase de concientización de la ira y manejo de la ira. Queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas y que se establezca una parte, un individuo, un tercero para el transporte de las menores.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nada más, su señoría.
Ms. Kim?
Yes,
Señora
Your
Kim.
Honor. She is 24 years old.
Ella tiene 24 años, su señoría.
She has no objection to stay away since she can go to her mother's place, who's near here in Georgia.
Ella no tiene ningún problema con mantenerse alejada del señor, ya que la madre puede quedarse en su casa y vive cerca aquí en Georgia.
And she has no objection to no further contact either. Actually, they are not married. They have been living together for the last 7 years, and they do share 2 children, and yet legally they are not married.
Ella tampoco tiene objeción a no tener más contacto con el señor. No están legalmente casados, pero han estado viviendo juntos durante 7 años y tienen 2 niñas juntos.
She has been here in Georgia for 7 years.
Ella ha estado aquí en Georgia por 7 años.
She has another child in Honduras. So
Tie-
total of 3 children she has.
Tiene un total de 3 hijos, tiene uno más en Honduras.
She has no child support.
No recibe pensión alimenticia al menor.
And ever since 2017, she has been a full-time mom, stay-home a Commonwealth wife.
Ella ha estado desde el año 2017 sin trabajar, ha sido una madre a tiempo completo.
Since there's no employment, she graduated from high school from Honduras. She does not speak English that well.
Ella no está empleada y ella terminó su escuela secundaria en Honduras y no habla inglés.
She does not have any financial resource to pay for the bond.
Ella no tiene una entrada financiera para pagar por la fianza.
We would like to request for a signature on bond.
Por eso pedimos, su señoría, que le otorgue una fianza bajo firma.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay, if this is Mr. Marcial on the line and he would like to speak, now is his opportunity.
Si está el señor Hugo Marcial en la cámara, en la plataforma, por favor, entienda que esta es la oportunidad para hablar en este caso.
And you have to unmute yourself and I'll have to
Tiene
switch.
que prender el micrófono.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're Mr. Marcial?
Señor, ¿es usted el señor Marcial?
Sí, yo soy Hugo Valderas Marcial.
Yes, I'm Hugo Valderas Marcial.
Do you speak English or do you want to communicate in English?
¿Quiere comunicarse en inglés? ¿Habla inglés?
Sí hablo, pero preferiría el intérprete.
Yes, I speak English, but I prefer the use of the interpreter.
Okay, that's fine.
Muy bien.
What would you like to tell the court?
¿Qué quisiera usted decirme a mí? Por favor, haga pausa.
Pues solo de que mis hijas necesitan a su mamá.
Only that my daughters need their mom.
Y que y yo prefiero que ella se quede aquí en mi casa y yo irme de aquí, si eso es lo que tengo que hacer.
And I prefer for her to stay here in the home if that is what I need to do.
Porque la segunda niña que tenemos es prematura y necesita mucho de ella.
Because our second daughter was born prematurely and she needs her mother.
Sí, y entonces yo preferiría que ella se quede en la 3414, que es la casa donde vivimos, y creo que es conveniente.
I would like to say that it's convenient, and I prefer that she would remain at the street address of 3414. As I said, I find it more convenient.
Aside from convenience, has this ever happened before?
Aparte de ser conveniente, ¿ha sucedido esto antes?
No, nunca había pasado y es la primera vez que ella tomaba de esa manera y pues yo creo que fue algo que pasó por efectos del alcohol nada más.
No, it never did. This was the first time that she behaved like this, and I believe it was due to the effect of alcohol, just that.
And are you afraid of her?
¿Usted le tiene miedo a ella?
No, yo no le tengo miedo, yo la amo.
No, I don't. I'm not afraid of her. I love her.
Anything else, sir?
¿Algo más, señor?
Solo que la necesitamos.
Only that we do need her.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Your
Gracias.
Honor, just one thing that I would like to clarify, the children are actually 3 years old and 1 year old, Your Honor.
Una cosa más que quisiera clarificar es que una niña tiene 3 años y la otra 1.
Okay, so for the simple battery, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. For each of the other charges, it's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail, making for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through the jail.
Por el primer cargo será una fianza bajo firma de $2,000 a través de la cárcel. Por el segundo cargo, $500, una fianza bajo firma a través de la cárcel. O para el tercer cargo, $500 de fianza bajo firma a través de la cárcel, dando un total de una fianza de $3,000.
No further violent contact with Hugo Marcial, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out.
Se queda prohibido el contacto violento con Hugo Marcial y también queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Good luck to you all.
Buena suerte a todos.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Next,
Uh,
we have position number 15, Your Honor.
I believe that will be all, sir.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate your help today.
Thank
See
you. Have a good evening, sir.
You the same. Tell me again, what position?
Position number 15, Your Honor.
Yes,
Good afternoon, Ms. Means. I'm Judge Eric Mora. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms.
Good
Means,
afternoon.
good afternoon, ma'am. You've been charged in case 22 CR 007989B with simple battery family violence. I'm told by pretrial that this is Ms. Means' first arrest. Ms. Todd?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a verbal altercation that began between a mother and her minor daughter. Her mother, defendant, escalated the altercation when she began choking and scratching her daughter. According to statements provided by both the victim, whose initials are TM, and her brother, Dinero Means, that's DINERO, means common spelling. The defendant also hit the victim in the head with a frying pan, causing her to black out. Our office did speak with her, and she did report that she did experience some difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, and dizziness due to the defendant's actions. Additionally, the defendant yanked her daughter's nose ring out. Officers were able to observe bruising to the victim's cheek, neck, and nose. The victim was transported to Grady for further evaluation, and she has informed us that she still needs further evaluation. She has also indicated that this is not the first time that her mother has gotten violent with her. There is an open case with the Department of Family and Child Services. The victim did indicate that she does have another residence to stay at, and does not wish to return to the home or have contact with her mother. As such, we are asking for a $10,000 surety bond with no further contact, 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. We are also, I do want to place it on the record, Your Honor, we are considering upgrading this charge. That just wasn't done prior to in enough time this morning.
Okay, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Means is 49 years old, Your Honor, actually 50 years old. Indeed, this is her 17 years old daughter, and actually she was disciplining, but there was no physical violence or altercation, my client says. She has been here in Georgia ever since 2007, so she's been here for about 15 years. She has 7 children, and Tiana is the last one among all the children. And there was no other incident like this ever. This is her first time being arrested. She was nurse, and she's a licensed educator for cosmetology. She has a certificate. However, from about 4 years ago, because of her serious medical conditions, she does have a disability right now. And she's qualified for public defender's service. So our office will continuously represent her. And her highest level of education is high school. And she does need to have a medicine that she has to take every day. And in the jail, she has not been able to get any medicine for last 2 days. And I think it is very important for her to be released so she can take care of her medical conditions. This is her first incident. We would like to request for a signature on bond, and she does not have any objection to no further context, since Tiana means, already, I guess, moved out to another place. As long as she didn't move out to another 17 years old boyfriend's place, my client is fine with it. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, I would like to address something that Ms. Kim stated.
Yes, Ms. Todd.
She did state that the defendant has said there was no violence in the altercation. However, not only did the victim, but also her older brother stated that he witnessed the incident and witnessed the victim being choked and hit on the head with a frying pan by her mother.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Todd. It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Maines.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll be all, Your Honor, maybe we just.
Yes, have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Judge, position number 10, courtroom number 3, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Jones. I am Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Can you hear me, Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Okay. You've been charged in case 22 CR 007990F with battery and affray. I'm being told by pretrial that this is Ms. Jones's first arrest. Ms. Sori?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at North Point Mall, located at 1000 North Point Circle in Alpharetta. The victim in this case, her name is Mika, that's M-I-K-A, last name Farmer. Her mother actually called 911 to report that the victim was being attacked by this defendant and another person inside the mall. When officers spoke with the victim, she advised that she was attacked by the defendant, who is the ex-girlfriend of her current boyfriend. And she stated while she was in the mall, she saw the defendant and another woman, and they began to argue. The victim was jumped by the two individuals, and she eventually left the fight. And when she went downstairs, the defendant followed her again and began to fight her. The victim did sustain multiple injuries. When officers arrived, they actually spoke with both parties, and the defendant had made posts on social media saying that she caught the victim lacking, and on site means on site, so stop playing. And other comments were also made. So the officer did hear the defendant's side of the story, but due to the comments on social media and her version of events, he determined that it was the defendant who was the initial aggressor and charged her as such. Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this case is a $5,000 surety bond. That's $3,000 on the battery, $2,000 on the affray, to stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Jones is 17 years old, Your Honor. And the defense has we had no chance to review any kind of social media videos nor comments. My client denies the allegation. She was not a first aggressor. She goes to high school. She's expecting to graduate on May 2023. She's getting A's and B's. She's a good student. She dreams to be a nurse. and her favorite subject is literature. And she also has extracurricular. She does boxing, and she's planning to go to college soon. We would like to request for signature on bond. Her mother should be here. Her mother, Minnie Gibson, Minnie.
She's on the Samsung.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's on the phone.
Okay. So yes, she is
Yes, I'm
willing to
here.
co-sign for her daughter, Your Honor. We would like to request that you will give her signature on bond so she can go back to school. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Gibson. You'll be able to sign for your daughter to get out of custody. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And she's living with you at the present time?
yes.
Okay. Anything further, ma'am?
I was concerned about getting a restraining order. Roswell Police has documentation that St. Joseph called my phone with a
And Your
threat.
Honor, we would object to this line of testimony. This is not regarding the incident. She was not a party. So we would object to her testimony.
And nothing about that, Ms. Gibson. If you're going to have to go to another court for that, this is only concerning a bond hearing for your daughter, okay?
Okay.
All right, so it's gonna be for the battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the affray, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, makes it a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1-day anger awareness, stay away from North Point Mall, no further contact with the alleged victim, Ms. Farmer, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Jones. You also, Ms. Gibson.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. That's all we have, Judge.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Holly, the mother's name is Minnie, Minnie Gibson,
That's what
Gipson.
Yes, that's what I have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Ms. Gibson, do you need to put your complete name in the chat so they have the correct spelling of your name?
We got it.
Okay, Ms. Bridgewater, would you tell everyone when the SAP reset date is, and when you're ready, we'll go over the calendar.
Okay, I am ready. The reset date for the SAP calendar is December the 13th. Okay. Position number 1 is going to the SAP calendar, and it has a $4,000 good bond. Position 2 is reset further notice, and it has a $1,500 SOB through the jail. Position 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 total good bond. Position 4, reset further notice, $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 5 is going to the competency calendar, and it has a $2,000 total good bond. Position 6, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. Position 8, SAP calendar with a total $2,500 good bond. Position 9, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 10 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 11, reset further notice with a $3,000 total SOB through pretrial. Position 12, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 13, reset to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. Position 14, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 15, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 16, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 17, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 18, going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Position 19 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. And position 20, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail.
Go back to number 10 for me.
Number 10 has a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial.
And what was number 12 bond amount? I know it's SOB jail, I just didn't get that amount.
Number 12 is a $3,000 SOB through the jail.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are there any? Yes.
Copy C calendar will be December the 22nd.
Okay, did everybody get that? December the 22nd.
Yes, and may I have position 5, the bond amount in the conditions?
Position number 5, I have the bond amount as being a $2,000 total good bond for him to stay on prescribed meds and to stay away from the Georgia Aquarium. No drugs, well, stay on his prescribed prescriptions.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any others? Okay.
If not, we'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
Okay.